Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the third season of the NASCAR Class C Maconi Setup Shop Fix Series. This evening, we're excited to be bringing you top split action for the weekly strength of field race from the Legacy Skid of Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you all types of racing in the weekly Fresh Friday series, which just finished up just a few moments ago. No matter what you're racing, bring the action to life. I'm Justin Prince, alongside me is Brendan Laster with our producer tonight, TJ Lyon. The controls using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Brendan, tonight, we're getting set for an interesting one. Michigan, to say the very least, long, fast, and bumpy when it comes to this version of the circuit. However, with the new build about a week or so ago, multiple grooves have come into play when it comes to the track and official racing. Tonight will be no exception to that. Your thoughts, Braden, on Michigan tonight?
Yeah, this track, a very unique track you see on your screen, 18 degrees of banking, and the corners are about 73 feet wide, one of the widest tracks to go to. Plenty of lanes for these drivers to choose from and take advantage of that new asphalt build, which I'm sure many of them are actually still getting used to. It's very unique, very different than anything we've seen on the iRacing platform. All the tracks that we talked about, the track opened in 1968 with the last major change coming in 1995. This is the 2009 version, so very old track. It's one of classic cookie cutter D shapes, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of drivers going fast at dual speeds of well over 200 miles an hour tonight.
Should be an interesting one in turn for these drivers. Keep in mind when it comes to tonight, Friday evening racing, expecting a very intriguing field to say the very least. And your thoughts on the new build to say the very least?
Yeah, I got a good example of it a couple nights. I've been doing a lot of oval asphalt racing, and it adds a whole different atmosphere of racing. You'll be on the bottom for the first half of the race, and all of a sudden you're 2 or 3 tenths slower, and you really have to adapt. It's not just follow the leader. It's not the same group throughout the entire race. You have to kind of use your driver's knowledge and watch the track and play with the track, and you can gamble a little bit and try to find a faster lane. But with a track like this Michigan, where you have almost no off throttle time, a tenth can cost you 3 or 4 spots a lap. So it's gonna be real risky to see who gambles the most here tonight.
As you can see, the drivers are populating their way to the starting grid. Qualifying is over for tonight. And tonight, we get set to see how drivers fare out on this Friday evening. Your starting grid, Jackson Crowder, one of the top drivers in C Open competition. He's jumping over to C Fix tonight. On the pole with Jack Mace, he was at a photo finish early in the week in his #1 truck in this sim. Ryan Andrews starts third. Caleb Hall, very well-known short track racer on the platform, starts fourth. Ryan Tate is in fifth. Anthony Orlando rounds out your top 6 this evening. You move back to 7th, where it's Chubbs Shockley trying to shock the world. Trevor Perry starts 8th. Jesse Bonnell, Mac O'Connor, your top 10.
Then you got Rocky Boyd sitting there in 11th. Rocky Boyd is a common competitor in the C-Fix series. Nick Olson beside him in 12th. Jacob Schneider came up short of winning the championship with just a couple spots. Had a real good late season run, starting 13th tonight. Kyle Gaynor, 14th. Brandon Harris in 15th. Ty Showing in 16th. Damian Stevens in 23rd. And Andrew Lutz in 18th.
Jacob Snyder just in the range. How about that? Mike Rasmus making an appearance in the trucks for the first time in a while. Was one of the drivers in the conversation a couple years ago in Road to Pro. Cole Potkins starts 20th. Matthew Weeks. Robert Hanrana, amongst those competing just a night ago in Sunoco Winter Series. And Rob Peterson rounds out the field tonight. 23 entrants here from Michigan. Let's take a look at your race analysis tonight, brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR. 30 laps the distance, that's 60 miles. No fast repairs as to be expected with this being a C-Fix series race. Fixed setups as well in turn. In turn as well, just one green-white checkered attempt if necessary here tonight. And keep in mind, tire set's going to be very tight when it comes to the C-Fix side.
And we actually used that green-white checkered Monday night, so we didn't really have too many cautions, but once they started wrecking them big, and they started wrecking all of them. So we had only 2 or 3 cautions in the first about first 15 or so laps, and then they started tearing everyone up.
Here's a look at the weather conditions. Keep in mind that while the sim time is about April currently, we're currently well above the average. The average in real life is about 57 degrees Fahrenheit. The track temperature in turn 98 degrees with the 78 air temp here this evening. Your keys to win this one tonight, especially with a lot of veteran presence and high performance drivers in this field.
I think survival is going to be the biggest thing and not lose as much time. We saw a lot of guys earlier in the week get a little bit loose in the corner. These cars and trucks are just so tight with each other. You lose half a second a lap and you can literally go from first to last.
Quite happy with us tonight for some C-Fixed action. Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix Series. Glad to have you with us from Michigan. Crowder starts off on the inside. Green flag in the hand of Barney, the flagman. Green flag is out. We're underway from Michigan. And we're 3 and 4 wide already. Bubble, turn 1. One driver gets turned in the heart of the pack. The rest of the field collides in. Caution flag is out. Half the field is already in it.
That is everybody and their grandma on that one. We didn't even make it into turn 1 before they started wrecking. That started way up towards the front, and the microphones are heating up.
Not a surprise, especially when you have some of the leaders get collected near immediately. Ryan Andrew taking the lead at the top of the caution, it appears, but that was at least a 10-truck pileup. What happened here?
I mean, they all went 3 wide. They're pretty much off the start, and that started with your leader, actually, Jackson Crowder, kind of drifted up a little bit. And Jack Mays to his outside, just nowhere for them to go. They get turned and they start checking up behind them, and then everyone else kind of piles in. I mean, the entire field is separated by less than 2 or 3 tenths at that point, and you really have no time to react, and everyone else just slides in, and there's no time to stop.
And a lot of drivers, you have to think, with potential mandatory damage already here as a result here. Have to wonder if you have to get a viewpoint of Mace here. You mentioned the leader getting turned there that basically sparked absolute calamity here. He's had a lot of good battles this week. This one is going to fall into the bad category potentially. We'll have to see the angle possibly.
I mean, there's nothing you can do. If you for 5-6 laps into that one, then you obviously would be spread out and have some room to check up, but there's no time for anyone to react. And then you got cars sliding up and down the track. Just an unfortunate series of events. Unless you're Ryan Andrew, who inherited the lead, as you mentioned a minute ago. So Ryan now getting a start from the first position. I'm sure we're going to see him up here for quite a bit tonight.
So right now, Mace amongst those currently checking his respective gauges here. So when you have a crash like that to start things off here, you've already mentioned things lining up. About half the field already with significant damage. Let's go into the lines of some of these drivers, especially some who've gained 10 spots by getting through carnage, but those losing potential I rating because they now have their motor crushed in.
I don't think Jackson Crowder's going to be able to really continue. His motor, like you mentioned, is destroyed. He's actually left the session. Same with Mac O'Connor. He's in the pits, still in the session, though, but his truck is destroyed. But Jackson was number 3 with the 3rd highest I rating driver in the session. Jack Mace, not a whole lot of damage. I think he's still going to be very competitive, and he's staying out for the most part. But, I mean, Caleb Hall, he was towards the front there, Cammy number 5. Trevor Perry, not the singer. He had quite a bit of damage. We saw him driving around there with a damaged car. He was the 6th highest, and I mean, there's going to be a little damage to some of these guys that might affect them a little bit, which might not seem huge, but they're a heavy downforce track like Michigan, where the slightest amount of aero damage can be huge, and it hurt you, especially over a long run. So I don't think some of these guys are going to be as competitive as they necessarily would have been, but really a letdown there for that Caleb Hall and Jackson Crowder, who were ranked in the top 5 I rating drivers for the session, and going home definitely with a big hit.
It's to the point where, just looking over to my left, for those watching along with the broadcast, even the drivers in this race want to see what just sparked all this. because Andrew is now the leader. Keep in mind, one of the drivers has started at the back of the field. Pauken is now in the top 10. He started back at the edge of the top 20 and got through all the carnage there. So this has really mixed things up after everything really stacked up there. Again, from the battle for the race lead, heading through turn 1 to start the race. We're going to have to try this again, to say the very least. So as we get sorted here, now who do you think is going to be the main front runner? Because half of them are out.
I think Ryan Andrews a really good choice. He was pretty dominant earlier in the week. Same with Jack Mays too, but we're going to have to see how that damage really starts to affect his truck. Like, a little bit of damage can be huge, especially with these bodies and this new damage model. So we're going to see him take advantage of these new lanes and try to make the most of what they've got. Most of them don't have much.
Several drivers still not gathered up on the bottom of the racetrack yet. We'll see if they get fully compact here. Good portion of the field already out. We're not even to lap 5. Green flag is out. Let's try this again. A big cleaner on the start this time. Already 3 wide, and we're already blocking for 5th.
We got one coming out, that's Ty Schoening in the 22 truck. He had some heavy damage. He's 2 laps down. Came out of the pits right there in front of the leaders and is inches away from that bottom line. They're all trying to make their way around him. Ryan Andrews still with a point. He's got Jack Mace falling back now to 4th, and he's got company of Anthony Orlando and Ryan Tate. Look on his inside now for 2nd. This is kind of getting exciting, but these drivers, I don't think they learned their lesson last time.
Andrew trying to keep the top side. The momentum usually there. Yes, indeed. More stack-ups already. 3 wide of the battle for the heart of the pack. One driver at least losing ground from the contact to the wall. Kyle Gaper amongst those on the contact. Gaitner should say. He's back to 17th with that. We stay green. And here comes near contact. Rocky Boyd III nearly pushing the back end of the teal truck in front.
Yeah, that Kyle Gaither accident there on the wall. He got some contact, some help from Jacob Schneider. Looked like they both got a little bit loose. He met in the middle. Schneider still going. Gaither also still going, but his truck not handling the best. Ryan Andrews, though, still to the point. We're already about a 5th of the way into this one. We're getting there. So the laps are winding down. This is kind of like follow the leader type racing. Their entire top 9 or so guys are all still within a second of each other. And I mean, one guy spins, they're all going to slide in there. So you gotta be careful and be on your toes for that. Everyone's still running around the bottom middle lane. No one really electing to go towards the top quite yet, unless they're being forced to. So far, no one's taken advantage of the multi-groove racing yet. Anthony Orlando is just right up the back bumper of Ryan Andrews.
Andrew continue to play the lines. Keep in mind, Orlando, you see, does have a little bit of crumples around his front end from the contact early in this race. And despite that fact, I'm surprised Orlando's still up here. Normally, you're talking about driving the back when your front end's damaged like that.
Well, see how he's tucking up right behind Ryan Andrews. He's not really electing to make a move, and he's barely peeking out just in the corners, running about half a lane, if that higher. So you might know he has front damage. You might have figured that out when he pulled, out of line from Andrew, and that's why he might be electing to just kind of stay behind him. He's obviously, he has the speed, as Ryan Tate is ascending on the inside of both of these drivers. Going to get to that white line, got below it a little bit, got a little bit loose. Going to hurt his run out of the corner. Same with Ryan Andrew. But I think Orlando might know he has damage, and that's why he's electing to kind of try to stay up and instead of peeking out. If he peeks out, he might fall back on outside the lead pack.
Tate still trying the inside line, trying to go the shorter distance. Already, Andrew able to keep the higher arc and now moves back to that first seat, just about. Keep in mind, Rocky Boyd III also amongst those looking to shove his way inside the top 3 here. And keep in mind, when we were watching along with the action just this past Monday, in fact, one of the main conversations over the radio, I wasn't expecting, some drivers were saying this, quote unquote, that they weren't expecting to be the right rear tire saving race. The right rear tire wears more this week.
Yeah, I mean, tips are everything here. I've been saying it all night. And you see some of these drivers actually start to get a little bit loose, especially like Ryan Tate, who's running that shorter line, but he's definitely hurting his tires. And the way he has to kind of pinch it in, they're going to be burning off that right rear, especially in a matter of time. Like, you can see them already. These guys are really struggling. Some of them not quite stable as they would like through the corner, especially Andrew, their leader on exit the corner. He's really struggling to keep the rear end from underneath him. Rocky Boyd, real loose up on the top, going to slide down and almost come across the nose of Anthony Orlando. But you really see these drivers are starting to struggle with this right rear, and that might play a huge factor here.
So now Rocky Boyd III in front of his former teammate. Long time back, these two working together over the years, especially with organizations such as JRS Racing. Right now, you can see at this point, Rocky Boyd III for the past year or so working with Ryan Kuhn and his organization. However, he's been amongst those that shown some improvement in some of these respective races over the past year. We've seen some interesting moments with his truck's been blue. In this color scheme, he looks a little bit more patient despite some of the bumps out of the corners.
Yeah, Rocky's a driver that has competed with us a long time, and he's normally a good mid-pack car. He has his moments where he runs towards the top 5, towards the top 10, and we've seen moments where he just kind of struggles. And a lot of drivers have their ups and downs, but Rocky always seems to be able to make the most of it and learn. And he's obviously learned quite a bit running in the 3rd spot right now, but he's really dealing with an ill-handling truck. So Ryan Andrew, you really see going from bottom to top trying to block. And I mean, this field is still insanely tight. The top 13 drivers are all within 2 seconds, and the top 10 are almost within an entire second of each other. So no one's really pulling away as you might see at a normal cookie cutter type track or intermediate track. And Ryan Andrew is, I'm sure, shivering as he's got a hungry hippo fluid behind him.
Big block attempts from Boyd III. However, Potkin able to get alongside for 3rd. He's declared by corner exit to be able to get the spot. Same for Tate trying to go below the first seam. Not going to work there. Going to keep it side by side for 3rd. The ancient gaming machine of Andrew continuing just played Pied Piper. Did that get a little bit too much Pied Pipery though? Here comes Tate. He's going for the slide job, but Andrews with the pinch again.
Don't get a run off the corner, using that high time momentum. A big help out back. Ryan Tate was going to get some Cole Potkin. Now they're 3 wide for the lead. Cole Potkin at the bottom. Shot out of a missile. I thought he was going to help Tate there, but he said, screw you, I'm out of here. Have a good time. And now he's going to be stuck on the bottom. They're still 3, almost 4 wide there, and this is not going to end well unless someone backs out. Andrew really pinching Ryan Tate. And look at Cole Potkin to the point.
Still 2 and 3 wide as drivers sort themselves out. Orlando amongst those on the bottom. But a new race leader for a moment. Potkin trying to make it work bottom. Andrew, he's had clean air much of the way. And in turn, still has that outside groove. Potkin seems to be better though on the tires. We've seen a few drivers like that earlier. One driver in the back of the pack getting loose. We stay green, they're able to save it.
Rocky Boyd now the back bumper trying to bump draft Cole Potkin, going to upset him a little bit, kind of send him in the corner. Potkin was real loose, Boyd also real loose. I think Rocky Boyd's going to lose his truck as this race has gone on. You see him struggle almost every corner exit, especially coming out of 4. So we might see this play factor. Now he's pinched off on the bottom, the inside of Ryan Andrew. Andrew now kind of looking 3 wide, trying to side draft Cole Potkin. Rocky Boyd still trying to hang on. You really see him struggling with that truck. I don't know if he's burning his right rear off way too much compared to these other drivers, or if he's just going a lot harder than everyone else. As we are now halfway through this one.
15 laps to go here in top split action. Potkin still battling up top side in all of this. Rocky Boyd III, despite the loose conditions, still going for the point. Look at Trevor Perry, though. Remember, he was amongst those having to get a good minute's worth of damage repair. He's up to 7th and is slowly making his way through this lead pack despite the contact.
That he had a really torn up truck, so he's obviously doing real well with what he's got. I mean, his whole front end was basically destroyed, and now he's just on the outside of looking for the lead, running the 7th spot right now. Orlando got real squirted there. Ryan Andrew pushing the back bumper of Rocky Boyd III. And they're just kind of working together a little bit, trying to get a run going in the turn. turn one, using that high side, carry momentum through the corner, and make the pass for the lead down the backstretch is the plan. But I don't think Rocky Boyd quite has a good enough truck to make the move. And Cole Palkin has obviously done something different, figured something out throughout the week, because he's got a lot better handling the truck. He can't really pull away, but through the corners, he's getting car to truck things from these guys, and then they're just drafting up to him down the straightaway. So Cole Palkin has figured something out compared to everyone else.
Here's an interesting note. Looking at track temperature up on the top pylon, that's the first time we've already noticed this. It's got up 4 degrees during the race, despite the weather conditions not changing all too much. Is that more so just the traditions of the weather, or is that more so what you would expect for the oval refresh, where that heat's supposed to transfer more direct into the track?
So it's hard to tell, and like I mentioned, this oval refresh is still fairly new. When it came out, less than a week ago. So a lot of these guys are still learning it, and you have to wonder: has Cole just ran a lot more races this week compared to everyone else, and that's kind of how he knows the way the track is going to transition, towards the bottom, towards the top, and change his line. He's not really running the same line. He's pretty close to everyone else, but he's about quarter or half the car length down in this corner, or a little bit higher in that corner compared to Rocky Boyd and Ryan Andrews. So if I was those guys, I'd honestly be right behind him going in the corner and just try to follow his tire track as well as I can. But you really see Cole Palkin about a quarter of the truck length higher up the track compared to those guys. I think that's really the winning difference right here.
Starting to see some separation too. Keep in mind when it comes to some of these tires really starting to wear out. Looking from Ryan Tate, he's been amongst those in the top 5 much of this race. And amongst those who tried to battle a lot aggressive early, now that's seen some of the ramifications already in because of the push. Speaking of push, Rocky Boyd III does not want anybody to pass. He blocks again.
I think that's not really helping his tire situation at all. And something you talk about, early battles, Cole Palkin started 20th. Yeah, we had the 13-14 truck wreck early in this race, but he still had to go through the grass, make aggressive maneuvers to make it through that wreck. He went low in the grass to make it around it, but he still started in the teens or so. We started towards the bottom of towards the top of the top 10, and was very aggressive, kind of making those moves. And he's still up here and has great tires. Ryan Andrew now is in second place in front of Rocky Boyd, inches separating the 2 trucks, and these 2 are really not starting to play nice.
Intern Andrew going for the lead. Palkin nearly takes the scissor block. Andrew able to get to the first seam, however. Palkin the only one up on that top groove amongst the top 5. Does have the better exit in turn because the top. That also opens the door for Boyd III. Under 10 laps to go. Coming to 9 to go at the stripe as there's a bit of a break. Boyd the third gives space this time for Andrew.
That entire top 10 still almost all within 1 second of each other. We got 16 trucks on the lead lap and about 12 or so still in this lead pack. So it's still anyone's game, but Cole Palkin going to lead that lap. Ryan Andrew, another hard charge to the bottom into 1. Carries a ton of momentum, about 3 or 4 mile an hour speed difference. So he's trying to work the bottom, work a different groove, make some magic happen. Leading the way out of turn 2. Palkin got a little bit loose to the block. Ryan Andrew to the point. Block came across the front nose of Cole Palkin, and Palkin not showing his pleasure there. Really over the back bumper. Rocky Boyd now trying to make a move too, and now they are off to the races trying to catch Ryan Andrew.
So now it's the question, how do they line things back up? Keep in mind, Andrew had to do that because that's kind of the way you take the lead, is you clear by exit. Now it's the matter, how does Palkin respond? Does he come in kind if that opens the door back in a moment?
They touched a little bit there, going in the 1. Ryan Andrew, was inches from a contact with Cole Palkin's nose, but had he not closed that door, like you just mentioned, that's what he had to do, then Palkin would have gotten the run, and they would have been side by side. With a track like this and a race like this, you have to make every move you can, and Ryan Andrew, obviously a very experienced driver, got second in the championship in the C6 series last season, so trying to back that up with another win tonight. They're going to touch barely. Those 2 almost squeezing each other into the wall. Rocky Boyd is loving this battle. That's allowed him to catch up. Now going to be looking 3 wide on the bottom, into the back bumper, Cole Palkin a little bit, and they are slicing and dicing 3 wide into 1.
How much space do they give him, though? Rocky Boy the third just about making some contact. Pocken gets tight. A bit of a slide up from the bottom as well for Boyd the third. And now he's stuck in the bottom. Andrew still has the preferred line up top down the straight. 3 wide again. Offset 3. And Boyd the third had to back out of it. That could have been disastrous with the spotter call. Oh, and contact. There they go. Several get spinned. Caution flag is out. Hard contact to the wall for Trevor Perry. He's up and over.
That's going to hurt his singing voice, all right.
So Trevor Perry upside down after contact with the pit wall. That all sparking after we've seen a loose moment with Boyd the third, it looked like. It was 6 to go. It gets interesting.
And we've been talking all night about how loose Rocky Boyd has been. It was really driving off that right rear. Looked 3 wide on Pauk and didn't quite clear the move. Backed out a little bit. That just really upset the truck. And around he went. And unfortunately, there was a unsuspecting Ryan Tate to his outside. He goes around and then he collects Chubb. Shockey just made a good move to get inside the top 10. And then you see everyone start to pile in. And Trevor Perry is obviously getting the worst of that one. Going on a one-on-one date with the wall there, so not quite the wreck everyone wanted. That's huge wreck, especially compared to the fact everyone had about 15 trucks on the left on the lead, left to right on board there, preparing. Oh, hard hit.
Almost like a ping pong ball with how much the contact there was there that flipped him upside down. Well, the first time seeing a flip upside down since the oval refresh. In turn, now to be surprising, pit stop time. Here's going to be the interesting play. Strategy. Andrew overruns the pit stall. Does anybody risk the crazy call of 2 tires? Remember, it did not work Monday night in the first race of the week.
I think you might be able to get away with it, but it's going to be interesting to see. Like you mentioned, does anyone try the gamble?
It looks like somebody did. Take a look. That is... Yes, that is Nick Olson to second.
Unfortunate victim of circumstance on that wreck too. Anthony Orlando got spun down the pits and unfortunately got a black flagged, I believe. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. If that's going to be a drive-through for him. But he had such a good run going too early in this race. So I hate to see that for him.
We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, it's the run to the finish. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage, the Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix Series.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Just about set for the restart, coming to 3 laps to go. Strategy coming in big for a couple drivers. Some involved in the caution, even taking 2 tires we see here. Cole Potkin still the leader. However, Nick Olsen gains tons of track position on pit road. Is that going to be a play to get spots here? 3 laps to go, and we're back underway. Cole Potkin holding on to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get the push from Mace. And he's all the way to the yellow line as they make their way through turn 2.
They've only got 15 trucks left after a disastrous night for Tony's drivers, but Cole Potkin so far still out front trying to steal this one. Jack Mace behind him, but here comes run Nick also on 2 tires. He has some help. That's Ryan Tate behind him on the top, making some magic happen. Again, almost a good run through the corner. Those 2 tires are sticking so far, but they might start to hurt. We are coming to 2 laps to go.
Coming up to 4 miles to go. 1 driver at the back of the pack has to serve a penalty. Mace has no help up the middle. Now a block off to the inside. Olsen getting shuffled back a bit. Side by side, he goes for the point himself. Olsen to the inside. Potkin up top. Side by side for the point as Mace elects to push. Now it's Tate trying to push Potkin down the back.
Mace gonna hop up to the high side, give Tate a run. They got 1 spinning in the back, so far still green. Cole Potkin out front, now trying to block 2 lanes. He has Nick Olsen to the bottom. He has Tate to the top. Who's it gonna be? He's got 1 lap to go, 2 miles to navigate around here, and he's got about 4 lanes to block.
White flag is out. This is the race. Olsen tries to scissor block Rocky Boy the third on his recovery. Potkin sees contact behind. It's Tate across the nose of Olsen. They slam up into the wall. Race to the checkered is on. Boyd the third up to second. Potkin tries to play the draft. Ryan Andrew looks for second. Potkin looks to close it out. Potkin's been the king of the long run for much of this race tonight. In turn, he's the king of the short run. Boyd the third gets turned out of turn 4. Cole Potkin takes the checker flag. He gets it done here at MIS.
Ryan Andrew in 3rd, and Mike Rasmus, a driver we haven't talked about all night, started 19th, survives, perseveres, and comes home 3rd. Same with Chubb Shockey, he was in that big wreck back on lap 24, and somehow restarted, outside the top 10, brings it home 4th.
Well, that was hectic at the finish. Well, this started things off with the craziness down the back. Stevens amongst those.
Also Brandon Harris involved too, I believe.
Keep in mind that was below the racing line, no caution. And then it gets chippy coming to the white flag. Keep in mind, it's Tate and Olsen who tangle up as Boyd the third goes 3 wide.
Andrew started that last lap, Ryan Andrew, in 7th. And came home 2nd.
Hard hits, especially for Olsen and Tate on the top side. There's all the marbles, but in turn, not sure what happened through 3 and 4 here. Andrew's good for 2nd. Then Boyd the third has contact for the truck outside.
Yeah, I mean, that's just hard racing last lap, going for a podium position. I don't know if I would have done anything differently there, but neither one of those drivers are really finishing inside the top 10 now. As Rocky Boyd went home to finish 13th, 1 lap down. The King did not finish his last race.
Oh, in turn, let's take a look at the race results again. With it being an official race, these are locked in. Cole Potkin goes from 20th to 1st after avoiding the big one on the opening lap and able to keep up in front to end the race. Ryan Andrews 2nd. How about Mike Rasmus and all that? He's up to 3rd in the end. Then you have Shockley and Mace, the top 5. Big I-rating games for a lot of the others because if you're a fan of double-digit number drivers, guess what? They probably gained at least near 100 I-rating each. Rob Peterson, Kyle Gartner, he recovered back from the trouble early. And Rada Tate, he still finished 9th despite no front nose. Stevens in top 10.
Yeah, Nick Olson was running towards the front there at the end, just couldn't bring it home without tearing the nose off in the 11th. Jacob Schneider had such a good run going earlier in this race, finished 4th in the season standings last season, finished 12th. Rocky Boy, you saw him getting that last lap wreck, 13th. Brandon Harris also in that last lap, or the last restart shindig, 14th. Ty Schoening, 15th. Anthony Orlando, Trevor Perry, Jesse Bonell, Andrew Lutz, and Matthew Weeks rounding out your top 20.
21st going to Cal Paul. He was a part of the big one along with O'Connor and Crowder to end things off here tonight here in S.O.F action. 8:15 the start time, completing already by 8:56. We'll take a quick step aside when we come back. We'll discuss things. Already the drivers looking over their own replays. We'll take some discussions with some of those drivers after this break.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Brooklyn, Michigan for more coverage. Maconi Entertainment's action for the Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix Series and its S.O.F race tonight here on this Friday evening. We're standing by with Ryan and Andrew because, Ryan, there's a lot to unpack there. You take the lead after the big one on lap 1. You end up being up at the front most of the race. And then, not only did you overrun your pit stall, you picked up a speeding penalty before that final restart and still finished second.
Yeah, that was a really crazy race. I sucked in the Monday night race. Just wasn't good at all. Didn't qualify good. Ended up getting wrecked, I think. And yeah, I was just able to be a lot better tonight. Was up there competing for the win and didn't want to see that caution because me and Cole, Rocky, and I were just battling it out there. Thought that it was going to be a good finish and that I had a good chance. And then I guess Rocky got turned or something behind us while we were battling for the lead, and yeah, then on pit entry there, I just got hit from behind, and it gave me a speeding penalty. So it was a pretty crazy race.
Of note, Rocky Boy III actually got a bit loose in turn 4 before that respective moment, which in turn, 21 of the 23 drivers had contact. But the big question is, after that speeding penalty, what was the mindset with how crazy it seemed to be on that last lap, especially because there were 3 wrecks in the final 3 laps?
Yeah, I was kind of pissed off at the beginning, and then I was like, oh, I'm only in like 9th or something wherever I was because there weren't many left on the track. So it's like, oh, I might have a chance at getting back up there. And yeah, I just made some smart decisions. I pushed Rocky to the front and forced him to make a move. And then they ended up wrecking right in front of me, but somehow I was able to avoid it and get second there at the end.
On that note, thank you very much for the time once again, Ryan, and congratulations on the top 3 this evening.
Thank you, thank you.
That's Ryan Andrew coming away in second. I'd like to thank him for taking the time to speak with us. Apologies once again for the language used in that second question from Ryan Andrew. Intern Braden, your final thoughts on tonight.
I mean, we talked about it earlier in the race. You said what would be the keys to success? I said survival.
We'd like to thank our race sponsor once again, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as our broadcast partner, Maconi Competition. Coming the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Brandon Laster, with DJ Line producing. Thanks as well to all the drivers and for all your viewership. Watching along with tonight's racing action, we hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks as well to the staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time from Dega.